shit. Okay, I already had made that up in my mind. Between a trademark and sending the presentments that were sent to the mailbox back with a third-party affidavit. See the nonsense? None of these techniques have any basis in any law or fact that you can even use effectively here. So I said, I'm sorry, I don't support those teachings. It has never worked in the past. Let me know how it goes. I'm just politely. Then they're going to tell me about the accomplishments of some guy. Remember, I tell you, whenever these little processes come, they already know some guy who did something and had some success. There never any real factual stuff. He said, this guy has gotten 3 people out of jail and 8 people out of jail when he was in jail. Oh, he got people out of jail while he was in jail. Why the hell he didn't get himself out of jail, didn't get somebody out of jail? See what I'm saying? Nonsense. But that's all right. I accept your position. Then I said, they all say that. And then others have reviewed it and say, that is brilliant. Then I said, okay, then you don't need my opinion. They got upset. They did like one of those emojis that cover your face. Like, oh my, I'm impossible. Yes, I'm impossible. It would be impossible for me to sit here and help you with this nonsense. And this is the whole reason why the topic of the show. Now, listen, you will be an absolute fool. And I know some of y'all listening have done this, but I'm telling you, straight up, you'll be an absolute fool to sit here and drive without a license, driving them without insurance, and driving under a bad registration. This is why in my process, I teach you how to have all of those things, but you put your status on the record with them. I've done it. My son has done it, and plenty of other people have done it. This way, okay, I got this. See, you need those credentials for the policy enforcer, that police officer, because he doesn't know any of this. And he don't, quite frankly, he's taught and trained to be hostile towards it. And also, he doesn't want to deal with your nonsense about right to travel and be preached to on the side of the road. He just want to write the ticket, write up the report, get on, and so he can go home to his family. He's just trying to make a living. And these people out here giving these guys a hard time. Being a police officer or a law enforcement officer is a hard damn job. Okay, because you're dealing with nonsense all day. Are there police officers that abuse their position? Yes. But that's a small few that do it. See, what we like to do, we see a couple of bad apples who do these bad things to people, and we like to paint a broad brush and say every one of them like that. I personally have family that are law enforcement, a lot of them. And they're good people. So not everybody, just because they're a cop, is looking to hurt you. I mean, to be honest with you, I've had running with law enforcement, and the white officers treated me better than the black ones did. That's just my experience. That may not be everybody's experience, but my experience, I was treated with respect by the white officers. I cannot say, honestly, I can't really say, when I was a teenager and I was acting stupid, I had some iffy treatment. But for the most part, throughout my life, I've been pulled over and all that. And hey, how you doing, sir? Very respectful. I believe for the most part, law enforcement just want to do their job. Because, they took this job, they want to do good, and they want to get home to their family safe and sound. They don't have time for you talking about your right to travel and you am I detained? Are you arresting me? Arguing with a cop like that will surely get you arrested. And this is what happened. They got arrested. But yet they got some fancy method that they think is going to work. But they want me, if they're so confident in their method, they want me to look at it. Know why? Because they know I'm good at what I do. They know I'm the best that they can. If all of those other things were so good and everybody's applauding it, why are you coming to me? Because they know I'm a bad boy. But here's the thing. They know how good I am, but they still want me to vet somebody else's trash. I don't vet trash. I don't look at trash. All I look at is what I do. And this is how I handle situations. And for this person, I wouldn't even do it for them. Because they're too old and already know better. They already knew where I was coming from. So they couldn't even avoid in that static or being sacrificed. And that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you got to feel your way through the dark. And I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
Peace. What's up? What's up? It is December the 26th. I hope everybody had a good holiday yesterday. You got what you wanted. Spent time with your family. I just, hope everything went well. Our family, we did well. We relaxed. To be pretty, that's all we did. So, just looking forward to the New Year's ritual that is coming this coming December the 31st, which is Sunday, 11 p.m. I sent out the invitations. I shared it on Facebook. You can go to akemail.com and you can go there. I'll put the link in the chat there. akemail.com, and you'll see the invitation if you want to join us on our New Year's prosperity ritual. Now, this is going to be a relatively short show because I've been fasting. I haven't eaten much of anything since Sunday, the night before Christmas. And even that night, I had some salad and I had a piece of cornbread. And then yesterday, I had just some green beans, and I just been mostly drinking water and eating fruit and grapes, oranges, and watermelons. So I'm just trying to clean out. So today, it's been kind of a struggle for me because I've been tempted to do my eat like a burger, a steak, or something like that. But I'm doing good so far. So when I get off this, I'm going straight to bed. I'm not going near that kitchen because I'll mess around and eat something, and then I'm just trying to hold out. My spirit says fast, and that's what I'm doing. So I wanted to talk about the firmament today. There's a lot of TikTok videos talking about the firmament and what is it. So I have the 1611 King James version of the Bible, which is a pretty old Bible compared to most editions that are out there. So there's older Bibles out there than that, but I thought it was pretty interesting. So I'm going to talk about that. But before I get into that, briefly, I want to talk about, are you ready to be committed to what you say you want, to prosperity you want? Are you ready? And what I mean by ready, I went over some things on Sunday, things that could keep you on track. Are you staying focused on those things? Are you trying to keep yourself on track and not allow different distractions to get in your way? I told you, once you try to do something new, what's going to happen? All hell is going to break loose to try to prevent you from achieving that goal. It's something about, and I said it on Sunday, like it's like this energy of opposition comes upon you. And I really think that energy of opposition is coming from within your being, our being, and it's emanating out because we're so used to being one way and we're trying to change our energy. The energy that is used to being present is trying to overcome you. So that's what it says. You fighting. You're not fighting against flesh and blood. You're fighting against the higher, deepermost parts of your mind. That's where the battle is. I remember watching, as a kid, I watched Star Wars. I like the Star Wars series. And when Luke was trying to learn the Force, Yoda was teaching him, and he went into this, I guess, a cave, something he went into. And the first encounter was himself. He had to overcome the distractions, the opposition within in himself. And that's a metaphor for us. The biggest challenges that we will face is our own mind, our own self. Like, for instance, I'm trying to fast, right? What is going to be my biggest challenge? It's not the food. The food just is there. It's me desiring the food, fighting off those desires. I got all this food in the refrigerator. I get cook for my daughter or get her food. And I'm sitting here, she's eating and I'm not. By choice. And it's easy for me to go down there and make something. Right? But what am I really struggling with? Myself. My own habits of eating every day or eating certain foods every day. The struggles you will receive, the biggest ones, is not people, the things. Those are projections. Those are illusionary things that present themselves so that you can buy into the conflict of those situations. That problem you have with that person on the job. Yeah, it's happening, but it's a trick to get you off your piece. You don't have to buy into their games. You don't have to respond. I'm not saying allow people to take advantage of you. Yes, you do need to speak up. There's a time to speak up for yourself, but don't allow these things to take your peace. Don't allow that, because once you allow that, you just gave them a license to control your peace. That's what you did. That's the Telegram link if you want to get on live and you got something to share. If you want to share how you've been doing so far since I started talking about the different things you can do to keep yourself on track, to stay focused. So there's the link. You go in there and join it. It's up and running. Man, I'm looking forward to 2024 to get here because I know big things is going to happen. I got to be, remember, I'm going to be specific. Great, positive, big things are going to happen for 2024. Already. Big things. And I know a lot of the people that have been working on their programs, their channels, like Corinne and Antonio's son. I always forget his name. I gotta remember saying. Forgive me if I didn't say your name. If you're on, go ahead and tell me again. I gotta do a better job at that. But he's got his channel going. All those that are doing their thing, working on it, congratulations and shouts out to you. I know that it may not be exactly where you want it to be. It's not as popular as you want it to be, but it's where it needs to be at this time. All you got to do is keep moving forward. It will be popular. It will pay off. The Bible is clear. It says you reap what you sow. You sow those seeds of consistency, you're going to get consistent following. The issue is people are not consistent. Just as they getting close to their goals or things about to break through for them, they quit. Y'all see me. I rolled. I had people working with me a couple of years ago and they quit. Why? They had things to do. They had games to go to. They had all these things that wasn't profitable for them. It was just things that took them off, distracting. You know, people don't realize when you get introduced to something, you will get to a point where it will seem like it's not working. And that's the illusion. That's the game. And that illusion is going to keep popping up even when you do make it and you get successful at what you do. Something's going to come up to make you want to quit or trick you into thinking about quitting. Even when you do get the followers, you start making the money. Something's going to pop up that say, okay, it's time, let me quit. That happens to me all the time. I'm 8 years in and that pops up at time. Man, what are you doing? I know, because I've been programmed all my life a certain way and I'm still unprogramming the program. I'm still doing that. So yes, those challenges that you do learn how to overcome doesn't mean that they don't try to come back and present themselves. Yes, they will. But by that time, you've trained yourself in the art of seeing through those challenges, seeing through those storms, that you know what they are when they pop up. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We have that happen on a physical level. How many of y'all are in successful relationships and then some old person you used to deal with pops up out of the blue and want to start chatting it up with you? See, the old bad stuff comes up and want to ruin which good you got. And that's exactly what happens when you're doing something great. The old bad ideas and negative ideas in your mind pop up. Like, for instance, you totally quit your job, you doing good in your business, and then the old idea of, I need to go get me a job just in case, pops up. That happens to me sometimes. Why? Usually when that happens, those things pop up in your head. What were you thinking about? Those old exes that pop up out of the blue. And keep it real. You brought them into your life because you was thinking about them. See, things don't show up out of nowhere by coincidence. They come up because the energy of your mind brought that person back in. The energy of your mind brought that idea of a job back in. Them old, because you might not be focused on your game. Or you might not even be having a good relationship at that time. You're falling out and you start thinking. See, we got to be careful. So let's get right to it. Let's get into this firmament. Why are you talking about the firmament? Because everybody else is talking about it. And I was taking pictures of the King James version of the Bible, 1611, because I was showing, they have the genealogy. And I got a lot of pictures. And I'll show you guys. So, you know what? I might just pull up a few just to show y'all some of the. And I like that Bible because it in the beginning, it shows everything, the lineage of everybody. All right, so. Oh, no, that's not the screen I want. There it is. They call the first book of Moses. Now, this book is a challenge to read because it's written in Old English. So a lot of the stuff, what we thought was the way we spell things, they weren't spelling things back then like that. Like Jesus is spelled with an I. I-E-S-U-S. But if you understand how the letter J came about, you realize that a J is an I with a hook on it. Because, when they were doing things after that third eye, they would put a hook on it. So this really wasn't a letter J in the English language. Right? And you can see right here, they got this little hook up here. And let me close that. I don't know why it's doing that. Put this over here. That's saying chapter 1, but it's the guy that has a look like a hook, a J, right? So, the first book of Moses, chapter 1, it says the creation of heaven and earth. And you see that heaven looks like a U. Of the light of the firmament of the earth separated from the waters. There are no S's neither, right? An S is an F, according to the way they got it written here. It says separated, if we're pronouncing it like we would pronounce it today, from the waters, and made fruitful of the soon. Well, they have an S as a capital. I don't understand when the S comes in, but this is how they said what we call separated. It was separated of the sun, moon, and stars. That's how they spelled it. This is where I get stuck. I know that's foul, but that F word, filth, I don't know, of beast and cattle, of man in the image of God, also the appointment of food. In the beginning, God created heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God said, the light that it was good, seeth that the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So they said there was a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So basically, it was just, I guess you want to say, a planet just full of water. And then he created a firmament to create a division between the two. As above, so below. And God made the firmament and divided the waters, which was under the firmament, from the waters which was above the firmament. And it was so. Now here's it get interesting. And it said, and God called the firmament heaven. So what we call heaven is really the firmament. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together up unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. So gathered the water to one place, and then land was created. And God called the land earth. See, it wasn't even called earth yet. And the gathering together of the waters called the seas. And God said that it was good. So, according to this book, this was written in 1611. This is the 1611 King James Version of the Bible. The firmament was created, placed in the waters, and then it was divided. So what we're calling the heaven, what we see, what we call sky, that's the firmament. And above it is supposed to be water. There's water there. So it brings up a big question, and it's a big one. Did they really go into outer space? That's the question. They said they went in outer space and did this and that. But according to this, if they were to break the firmament, they would be going into more water. Right? But they're showing document and footage that says that they didn't. And then, how did they even get pictures of when they were out of space? How did they get that? Like, there was to say, well, who took that picture? There was this little clip on TikTok. Who took these pictures? And then the craft that they claim made it to space, it doesn't even look. It looks like a Tonka toy. Like somebody just threw something together. See, that goes back to propaganda. They can make people believe anything through television. They can make people believe anything by theatrics. Now that technology is where it is now, you go back and look at this old footage and you see all of the flaws of this claim that they actually went into outer space. What's happening now? We live in an age where the truth is being known. It's coming. They can't avoid it. And I've showed you guys over time how you've been lied to about different things through our educational system. What makes you think they wouldn't lie about that? And why would they lie about that? Why? What was the purpose of lying? Distraction. See, man has done one thing, and he does it consistently. He loves to prove that he has power. And with that power, they want control of the very thing that is most valuable to you, your mind. Your mind, like I said a couple of shows ago, is being hijacked. They're trying to hijack your perception on everything. That's why it's important that you study for yourself, not take people at face value, and read. But people don't have time to study because why? They spend most of their life waking hours working every day. And then what's left, they're too tired to do that because they got to come home. They got to take care of responsible children, and the list goes on. See, our perceptions are hijacked so hard that these things we call normal are really abnormal way of living. Because if it was normal and it was natural, well, let me still change the word from normal to natural. If it was if this was our natural state of being, you wouldn't be so stressed out. That's how you know when something is not right. It's not natural because you're stressed out every day trying to keep up. And if you look at, I went to the store, and, you know, I was in Publix, and, you know, they have the rotisserie chickens there. Those things were $6.99. You know what they're selling them for now? $14.99 for one chicken, cooked chicken. I remember going there, it was like $6.99, $7, $8 the most. $14.99 for one small rotisserie chicken. Now, I don't know about you, I would cook that myself at that price. And your salaries are not going up, but the prices are. We at the point where there's only two classes of people. It's the haves and have-nots. It's really all this middle class stuff. That's out the window. It's out the window. Don't let the bank shut down on you. Now, a couple of weeks ago, they had an issue with the bank where you couldn't see your accounts, right? Now, they didn't put this on the news. They didn't publicize this. Because why? If they'd have publicized that, people would have made a run on the bank. I'm not going to say the specific bank this happened to, but yeah. And when I called customer service to ask about it, it was like, we can't see it either. This whole system shut down. We can't see anything. Now, this is the banking system. A bank, a big bank. And you can't even come, and they didn't put an email about it, nothing. I said, why wouldn't they let the customers know that they got a technical issue with the bank? No, because if they let the customers know that, people would definitely make a run on the bank and they cause a problem. Something is definitely happening because that's a couple of banks had cyber issues, but they're not calling it attacks. And then a couple of major companies had some cyber issues. Yes, I've experienced in the last 60 days, 5 different big entities had issues where their whole system went down. Just something to think about. Something to think about. If y'all want this Bible that I have, I bought it from a place. I don't know. I can't. Well, this Bible cost me $400. It's a reprint of the 1611 Bible. It weighs about 50, 60 pounds. It's big. It's like that big and that thick. I want to say that thick. So let me show y'all some of the pages that are in there. All right. I'll give y'all one. Let me see. I got so many. All right, you know what? I'll just share this. Bring this over there. Hang on. Share photos. All right, I should be able to see that. Let me move this over here. Hang on a second. I'm going to bring it back in a second. Okay, there we go. All right. Not there. So let me see. So this is the God. This is how it is in this Bible. So they start off God, and then he created Adam and Eve, and then they show how their lineage. Now, what's confusing to me, they're showing Adam and Eve, right? They're the first two. They're showing 3 different sons: Cain, Abel, and Seth. Of course, Abel was killed by his brother Cain, and it shows Seth had a lineage here. But who in the world did they have? How did these two get to have children with who? Right? They say Cain took a wife, right? But where did he get this wife from? Now, growing up in the raised as a Jehovah's Witness, they said, well, he took one of his sisters. But the Bible doesn't say that. And then I was like, wait, sister? Like what? That bothered me. Like, what sister? Isn't that kind of crazy? Then they said, well, they were closer to perfection, so they could have children and not have have disabilities. But this is what I'm talking about, how your perception gets hijacked. Something that sounds utterly crazy, and it's not founded or backed by anything that I've read in the Bible, unless I missed that part. Is there something in the Bible that say he took a sister? I'm going to Genesis. I don't remember seeing that. I remember Cain, they sent them off, and that was about it. After he killed his brother, right? If somebody can help me out in the chat. If y'all know more than I do on this. Right? All right, I'm trying to get to the part. She said she bought Cain. Cain knew his wife. So after I'm gonna go to this part where it says Cain. Not so. Whoever this is after God put a curse on, some type of curse if you touch Cain after he killed somebody that you couldn't kill him. That's another wild, crazy tale. But then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain knew his wife. Where did he get this wife from? Where did he get the wife from? Right? Where? Help me understand where he got this wife. Because he had children. They grew up because, they come in with Cain and Abel's story after they're adults and they're able to do offerings to God. See, what happens with these types of situations with the Bible is people will inject their assumptions into the matter. And then you hear this as a kid, and then you start repeating this stuff as if it's a fact because they didn't. Yeah, this is what happened. It's all guesses. The Bible doesn't support it being one of his sisters. But I'll tell you one thing. I'll go back to what I started reading in the first place. Let's see. Oh. Give me 1 second. Let me find. I'm going to go back to the scripture that I was just reading. Oh, no. You know what it was? Hang on. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. All right, let's do that. Right here, it says, let me make this a little bigger.
It says, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the, so that was fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female created he them. But then when you go over here, I think it's in the second or third chapter, he starts to talk about Adam and how he needed a wife, and then he created one. But here it sounds like he created them at the same time. He said, let us make man, right? It said, Lord planted a garden, and let's see something. Trying to find it. Let's see if I go to the next one. You'll see I took a lot of pictures of this stuff. I'll do it on another show. But when you read that first one, it sounds like he made them at the same time. He created man and woman at the same time, in which lens brings to mind this story of Lilith, which is in the Bible. They're saying that was Adam's first wife. Eve was the second. Lilith didn't want to, I guess the story, and there's no proof of that either, because the Bible doesn't talk about it. Does Lilith is mentioned in the Bible? Let's put it like that. But it doesn't talk about. Let me go back here. It doesn't talk about what happened between Adam and Lilith. Like, I could go find a scripture and bring up my thing here. Lilith Bible. Okay, let's find the scripture where she's mentioned, because it is mentioned. I looked this up a while ago. It's in now it's hard to find. It's because it's talked about in the New Testament. Also, it's saying Genesis 1:27, but I know it's not there, because I when I went to look this up, it was in a later scripture. Okay, let's go here. Why is it making this hard for me to find it? I'm doing everything on the fly. Y'all know how. Yeah, Isaiah 34:14, and it says, "And the wild beasts of the desert shall meet with the wolves, and the wild goat shall cry to his fellow. Yeah, the night monsters shall settle here, and shall find her a place of rest." That's not the actual scripture though that says that name. So let me do my thing. There it is. It's saying that's the scripture. 14. Isaiah 34:14. Shall meet with the wolves. It's saying that's the scripture, but I don't see where the name is mentioned there. But anyway, that's the story. there's no real facts in that story. That's why I never really followed it up or gave it any credibility, because just like they're saying, well, that was one of his sisters that Cain took. That's the same way. There is no scriptures that support that theory. They just said Cain knew his wife and had some children. And what I find interesting, two brothers did a sacrifice to God. God accepted one over the other. Then one brother got jealous and killed the other brother over that. Right? I got another point to make on that too. Killed his brother because God, the Lord, it doesn't even say God, it said the Lord. Because if you were looking in the Bible, those, like when they talked about creation of the word, they say God. And then when they start talking about other things, they'll say Lord. They change up the wording. Why? But let me finish making this point. One brother killed a brother because God accepted his sacrifice over the others. What I find interesting about that is the sacrifice that Abel gave was from his field. It was vegetables and, whatever he came out of the ground. Whereas the sacrifice that Cain did was a blood sacrifice, cattle. But God took the other one over the brother, one brother, for what, and they don't really specify. He said something, there was a response that the Lord gave to Cain over this, but he took a man's life. God didn't kill him. He just sent him off. And then he said, anybody touches Cain, he was kicked out of where he was. And he said, anybody touches the hero Cain, they will die, or something like that. So that's an interesting way of punishing someone. You can go off, you have children, and blah, blah, blah. And although you kill your brother for no good reason, then the same Lord or God, when people did certain things, he sanctioned their deaths. That's why I believe that what we're thinking is this one God. There was many gods. I believe there was many gods at that time, and there was different representations of these gods, but they just took and put one monotheistic connotation on it. And to some of you who are staunch Christians and feel like you know everything, and you're just not going to question that. Yeah, it's only one God. Well, if you read the Bible thoroughly, there is a lot of inconsistencies as to how God treated things. It was okay. It wasn't okay that he killed his brother, but hey, you can go over here, and he lived a long and productive life, and he had a lineage. I showed you the pictures. Right? I showed you. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up again. Let's pull it up. Let's pull that lineage up again. Let's see. Cain's lineage. Pull it up. There it is. There's Cain. Now, you notice how they got these little designs here. I guess that shows the lineage that had God's favor or the Lord's favor. But then you have Enoch over here, who was taken up by God. And then, I didn't mean to do that. But then it goes all the way down to here. and shows all of his lineage. Now, that's interesting. And I see a lot of these names seem to be the same. You got Enoch, Enos. You had Canaan, Cain. Enoch here again. Enoch over here. And you notice how it's over here, all of the names are in all caps. Over here, all the names are in upper and lower. So I know this was written a certain way for a reason. Isn't that interesting? And it's kind of like, you see, you got God up here, all caps, and then Adam and Eve, all capped. Then from there, you got all these are all capped, and all these are up and lowers. What does that mean? I know they're doing that on purpose. Let's see. Let's go to another one. Up, all capped up here. And then upper and lower down here. And then you got the big family tree in here. And you notice it says Asia down here. It says Europa or Europe. Then Africa over here. And Noah right here. So these are all of the people pre-flood. Pre-flood. Let's go to this one. All capped again, up and over here. These are the Persian people. Aramites. Assyrians over here. Isn't that interesting how they got that? Let's go to another one. Now everything over here is all upper and lower. So after the flood, they started just using upper and lower. Most of these names. Interesting. That's why I like this Bible, because it really let's get a little, let's see who this is. So they all capped the tribes, the Canaanites, the Sidonians, the Hittites, and then they upper and lowered. So if I go back to the first page where one side was all cap and one side wasn't, what is that saying? Are those meaning those are tribes? I don't know, because I notice how they got all of this all cap, but then up here where they come down, this is all from Canaan. This is making me really want to figure this out. Now, here's Terah, and Lot comes out of here. Sarah and Abraham, you can see where the handshake is, where they got married. And here it is, that funny design that shows how they follow down to all of the lineage all the way down to Christ. But if you notice, again, Terah. Now, if y'all look at this word Terah, I believe that's an anagram for earth. Because if you move these letters around, that becomes earth. This is 1611 King James Version of the Bible, the original version. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like later. So here it is again. And all these people up and low now, when they get to Sarah and Abram, they're all cap. I guess that signifies a covenant with those. I'm just guessing. But see, it's not like that over here. Where these two, Rumah, Nahor, and Milcah, the oldest daughter. So this is Nahor, and I guess this is the two wives, I guess. And then you got Sarah and Abraham. Then you got Hagar. That was the one where they had the child waiting on Isaac to come. And his name was Ishmael, but in the heads it got If. You notice the spellings. Yeah. Then Rebecca and Isaac. Esau, Jacob. I guess these signify the ones that had God's favor, why they're all capped. But I don't know. That really doesn't satisfy my curiosity. I remember I was looking at this alone when I first got this Bible a few years ago. I was looking at that, then I got distracted. But now I got a newfound interest. I need to figure this out. You got Abraham. And then here you go, all the generations. Midianites. And we have a group of people that are Midianites. So that sounds similar to me. Here's Job and his family. But then it shows it stops right there. Maybe because they don't have any information on that. It's about 35 of these charts. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go all the way down to the last one. Salathiel. And let's skip over here. Somewhere it should show. It shows how we got to Christ. Mary, Joseph, Christ. By law, by nature. See, do y'all see that right here? Right here. I'm going to make this nice and big. One side says by law. The other side says by nature. Interesting. And they're connected. And they got Mary all capped out, and they got Joseph upper and lower. Wow. Mary the Virgin on this side, because she's on this side by nature, and they got Joseph by law. I didn't notice that before when I looked at this. And then you see this crest, how they got this done. This definitely means something. And I guarantee you. Okay, let's read this right here. It says Joseph and Mary, both of Zerubbabel, David, and Judah, are parents of Christ. Joseph legally in whole right, he is king of the Jews. What? Joseph legally in whole right is king of the Jews. With I don't know what this says. Futures Saint Matthew followeth, and from Mary the Emmanuel, Hebekam, the Emmanuel, and promised seed, whole generation. Okay, wait a minute. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Joseph and Mary. No, it's. I gotta look at this. Promised seed, whole generations. All right, I just went in straight study mode on the show. I gotta pull this out, pull this Bible down off the shelf. Let me show y'all the picture of the Bible. That's what it looks like on my shelf. And y'all can tell I've been using this. Here's a little rub. That Bible is heavy. And you can get this. If you want this, you can order it. There's a place that sells it. On the internet. Maybe I can get y'all a link if y'all want it. There it is. Oh, it's $1,000 now. God dog. I paid $400 for it. You might maybe get it on Amazon somewhere cheaper. No, this ain't the right one. That's the small one. You want that one. Oh, this smaller version has those pictures in it too. It looks like it has the same pictures in it. Let's see. It looks like it does. They got it on Amazon, so you don't have to spend as much as I did. But it's still, how much is this one? It's about $100. I'll get y'all a link. I'll get you the link to that. There it is in the chat. Right there. I don't know. He's saying he says, is Adam a representation of mankind and Eve a representation of womankind? I would guess so, but I don't know that. I that's a great question, which I don't have a definite answer to. But looking at the way they worded everything and how they upper and lowered and all capped, and you know that's what they do to you in the courtroom. They all cap you. Wow. Interesting. All right, what time is it? 8:12. Wow. I thought I was going to actually get off sooner than that. I got caught up in studying right there on the air. So, what I would suggest you get that Bible and get it for yourself and start looking at those pictures, because it's a lot of them. There's a lot of illustrations in that Bible. Then it takes time to read it because it's some of the words, the way they got it, letters and stuff. Like when I was like, that's why I say I get up early in the morning. When I was reading that Bible early, I was flowing right through it. Now the day done got to me and it was hard for me to decipher. So next time what I'll do is when I decipher, I'll just write it down so I'll know what's what. I don't want to mark up the Bible because I like that Bible. Usually I write in my Bible, but I'm not writing in that one. I paid too much for it. Anyway. All right. With that being said, that's it for me for the night. Thanks to all the people that got put the thumbs up, like, share the video. I'll just pull out these. We can decipher this Bible together. Go through it. Because there's a lot of stuff that leaves a lot of questions in people's mind. They still, for something to be that old, you would think somebody had figured it out by now and give you a definite answer, right? In the church that you go to, but they can't do it because they don't know. That's why they give you guesses. They don't know, Instead of saying they don't know, they try to give you whatever. Hey, this is what happened. And that happened to me a lot as a kid. And I'm like, well, because as a kid, remember, as a child, you're closer to perfection. You're closer to God, divinity. You don't have all this junk in your head. So when they tell you stuff, yeah, Cain took a wife. Well, where did he get the wife from? That was my question. Where did he get this wife from? Oh, it was one of his sisters. What? He slept with one of his sisters, and I'm like, they sleeping with sisters back then? Kind of craziness is this? It don't make sense. You tell me, y'all, I thought that's wrong. See, it leads to a whole bunch of more questions because the teachings are confusing. When something is not truthful, it is confusing. When something is truthful, your spirit, your divinity recognizes it as truth. And you don't need all of these extra explanations. Truth is plain and simple and to the point. But when people add their own narratives in it, it gets confusing. All right? So, with that being said, peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. Y'all have a good rest of your day. I will see you guys. Possibly I'll do another show this week. I'm not going to promise, but I most likely will. I'll see you guys at the ritual. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. Thank you. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.